I encourage you and suggest to you, you absolutely must take your industry where no one has ever gone. If all you're doing is benchmarking your competition, then you're not bringing fresh value to the marketplace that is going to dazzle the marketplace and that people will pay for. Relaxation and rest enables peak performance. Enables it. You can't perform at dominant levels without being incredibly relaxed, rested, fresh, and happy. And what I'm going to suggest to you is this: work less and you'll succeed more. The most effective geniuses, scientists, business builders, athletes are really, really good at recovery. I want you to be really good at having fun. How many of you in this room, you're scared to have fun? You feel guilty. You feel guilty if you're not working, if you're not checking your phone, if you're not with your team, if you're not producing. You feel guilty. What I want to suggest to you, just a heretic or a disruptive idea to offer to you. You will be so much more creative, productive, effective, influential if you're rested, relaxed, and you recover. At Titan, I teach the 5 great hours concept. Work 5 hours a day, that's it. 5 intense hours. And then go mountain biking. Then go get a massage. Then go watch a documentary. Then take your children to an art gallery. Then do a barbecue with your significant other. It's such a weird way to work. But if you study the great writers, if you study the great scientists, if you study, Einstein would work intensely, then he'd go sailing. A lot of the geniuses of the world had one thing in common. They spent hours in nature walks every day. Churchill, in the middle of the war, would go to his room and sleep and then take a shower. Study the great geniuses. The great geniuses were amazing at having fun, resting, recovering, and relaxing. Makes me think of what Picasso said. He said, it took me 4 years to paint like Monet, and it took me a lifetime how to remember to paint like a child. And so what happens is, after we're born, we are influenced subconsciously by our parents, who teach us as best as they know how the world works. We're influenced by our peers. We're influenced by our teachers. We're influenced as we get older by the media around us. We're influenced by the cultural beliefs that are entrenched in the nation that we lived in, or that we live in, of course. And so what happens is, subconsciously, incrementally, every single day, we receive this messaging and this languaging that takes us away from who we truly are. And we lose our native creativity and our curiosity. A little kid is always saying, why? But sometimes that curiosity gets stuffed out of us by people saying, stop asking so many questions. And by the messaging of the media and the culture saying, stop asking so many questions. Don't dream that you can be an astronaut and an empire maker and a startup entrepreneur or a great teacher or a frontline worker. Play in a box, think small. And after a while, year after year after year, we start to think small, and we start to betray our genius. We start to give up on who we are, and we forget who we truly are. In many ways, the process of self-mastery is not transformation, it's remembering.
Hi, Jasper Basson here. I just wanted to remind you about the Daily Entrepreneur Tips series. It's a business growth series for entrepreneurs and contains financial information and also information to grow you as a person and your business, because we will never grow our business any higher than we grow ourselves. So click on the link below and I will send you daily information to grow you as a person and your business, and it's for 365 days of the year.
I've talked to so many people who say, well, I must become an expert before I go out there and launch my business. I must become an expert before I go out there and whatever, write that book, create that movie, launch that movement. Well, every professional was once an amateur, and every master was once a beginner, right? And so please remember, there will never be a better time to step into the performance and the human being you've always wanted to be than today. One of the greatest pitfalls I've seen in having worked with so many people over a quarter of a century teaching leadership and elite performance is that people postpone their greatness and their eminence to some distant time in the future when they're going to have more time and the stars will align. And that is one of the greatest mistakes that you could possibly make. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, right? And you do not want to be one of those people who, on the last day of their lives, they were full of regret because they didn't do what they knew they could have done. You are worthy. There are no extra people on the planet today. Every single one of us is born into a unique genius. Only you have the fingerprints you have. Only you have the characteristics you have. Only you have the strengths that you have. You are so unique on a planet of how many billions of people. The thing that happens is we lose our confidence as we get hurt and disappointed by life. And a lot of us, what we do is we shut down and we contract and we protect our once tender, open hearts versus going out into the arena and sharing our gifts in full blazing glory. Please do not think you are unworthy of domain dominance. Please don't think you're unworthy of becoming best in the world at what you do if you sacrifice, train, learn, work with mentors, find the right talent hub, and then optimize your craft every single day until you reach best in the world. When we were tribal thousands of years ago, we would automatically model what the dominant member of the tribe, the chief, was doing. So if the dominant member had figured out a new tool, then automatically this type of brain cell, a mirror neuron, would cause us to start to mimic that chief's behavior. And that allowed us to survive. If the chief learned how to do fire, we would automatically, through the power of mirror neurons, start building our own fires. So in the modern world right now, we start to mimic the behavior of the people we associate with. Okay, and so when we were little kids, what do? We see our parents in healthy behavior, we would mimic it. But also, the toxic behavior of those early caretakers, those early caregivers, profoundly influenced the way we would behave. Second piece of science for you to think about is emotional contagion. Emotional contagion, what is that? Emotional contagion speaks to the profound subconscious phenomenon that we adopt and adapt to the emotions of the people we spend most of our time with. So couples have been studied, and if one member of the couple was depressed, over time, the other member of the couple would become depressed. If you are with a toxic partner, you will eventually pick up that toxic behavior. If your parents, for example, were angry, well, there's a very good chance through the power of emotional contagion, you have a reservoir of anger within you. Same for sadness, same for grief, same for shame, same for guilt. All of those low-grade emotions we adopt through the power of emotional contagion. And of course, same for the high-level emotions. If your mother, no matter what was going on, was always joyful and grateful, then you probably have a great sense of gratitude of your life. As you start getting more addicted to likes, or more addicted to busyness, or more addicted to worry, or more addicted to gossip, or more addicted to video games, you start releasing dopamine, which is that pleasure, inspirational neurotransmitter. As the habit grows into an addiction, the number of dopamine receptors in your brain actually decrease, which means you need to do more of the habit to increase more of the dopamine, and it becomes this negative cycle of absolute addiction. So the addiction is only going to increase, which means there's going to be more distraction that you are going to face, I'm going to face out in the world. You need to learn how to bulletproof that through what I call your artist's ecosystem. You want to build an environment around you where literally you protect your hope, you protect your inspiration, you protect your primal genius, you protect your time, you protect your freedom.
Well, how are you going to create that piece of magic if you have a fear of standing out? The marketplace rewards originality. Lady Gaga did what she did. And now you could say she copied Madonna, but she was just so different. And the meat dress and this. The marketplace rewards originality. The iPhone has sold over 1 billion units because it was so original. The great art, Jean-Michel Basquiat, it's probably, someone else probably did more, but a few years ago, highest money ever made for Jean-Michel Basquiat, $100 million plus. The great magic, the great artistry comes from originality. I encourage you and suggest to you, you absolutely must take your industry where no one has ever gone. If all you're doing is benchmarking your competition, then you're not bringing fresh value to the marketplace that is going to dazzle the marketplace and that people will pay for. And yes, everyone starts off copying. A few summers ago, I was in Mauritius and I read Miles Davis's autobiography. And Miles Davis, I think he played with, was it Dizzy Gillespie? I think he played with, and I think he played with Charlie Parker. And what he did was he had these heroes, and he would copy the musicianship and the composition and the style of the dominant, famous heroes at the time. Everyone with me so far? But as Miles Davis practiced his craft, as he got to know the domain, as he built higher levels of awareness, he started to find his own rhythm and his own voice. See, that's what marks a virtuoso from a copyist. Most people in business, most people in life copy what the herd is doing. They just copy what everyone else does. The true innovator, the true artist, the true visionary understands the domain to the point where then they can say, I don't think this is right. Or here's my voice. Here's what I want to do. And Miles Davis, once he started his own unique cadence, his own unique style, he brought something fresh. You've got to bring something fresh to the marketplace. But how can you do that if you have a fear of standing out? F-O-S-O, fear of standing out. Another primary human fear, fear of failing extremely. And just remember, failure is the price of ambition.